Hello guys, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Welcome back to the channel, and I have a new book review for you today, and this is another, as you can tell from the packaging, if you know my channel well, you'll know this is a new Wingleader photo archive book, and this is number 29 on the Tempest. So, what have we got here? This is a bag. Yes, this is a bag, and I'm just showing you here, as I always do with these reviews, if you order these books direct from Wingleader, they will come from this company here called Book World Wholesale, and they will come in a sealed plastic bag. So if it gets damp or if it's raining on their delivery, doesn't matter because it's in a sealed plastic bag. It then comes in a stiff cardboard envelope inside that bag. So if the postman's a bit rough or it gets put through your letterbox and drops on the floor, don't worry, you won't get any dog-eared corners or anything. And then it comes in a protective bubble wrap bag just to actually really properly make sure the book doesn't get damaged. And then you will have your book as it is here, delivered to you in perfect condition, as you can see. So very, very nice indeed. Right, so this is number 29. It's on the Tempest. It's by Chris Thomas. Hawker Tempest Mark V in RAF service. It does briefly cover a couple of other models, but this is what it is. It's as I say, it's Wingleader number 29. You can go to the website there, wingleader.co.uk. There is the ISBN code should you want to look it up in your own country. And it's still $19.95, and how they keep doing it for this price, I do not know. If you're following my A20G build, you will see in part 21, which will be up very soon, I have had in that a proper rant about that William Wolfe book that I paid over £50 for. And when you compare that book to these for £20, that book is pretty useless. These books will say, you know, from September 44 to November 44, this is the type of light this machine had, and after November 44 they changed to this type, and it's images with arrows pointing it out. They'll have close-up pictures and they will show you what type of light it had and what the light looked like, to all that sort of thing. The William Wolfe book gives you a fantastic description about the fuses, the wiring, the block numbers, and then it says, and from block 45 they used a type 8 rather than a type 9. That's it. Great, thanks for that then. No images of what a type 8 is. That book for cockpit images is an absolute waste of time. For the modeler, that book is garbage. Okay, I'll just put it out there. It's not good at all. These books, or books like this, are far better. And I just wish Wingleader would do, you know, aircraft in American. So they've done the Boston, which is basically the Havoc in RAF service. I wish they would do American aircraft as well. It would be so handy. But at the moment they don't. Maybe they will in future. I know they have got a brilliant book coming which you're all going to love, and it's focusing on the Lancaster, and I believe it's focusing on the Type 464 Dambuster Lancaster, and it's going to be a proper modeller's guide sort of thing. So one of these books but aimed at the modeller. So we shall see. Looking forward to that one. Right, so here we have Hawker Tempest Mark V. So going into the book, as we can see here, mainly black and white, because, you know, in these days pictures were black and white. There were very few colour photos around, although there are some. And Wingleader are not one of those companies that goes out and just colorises everything, because that can lead you down the garden path. So just some talk about who's been involved in this book here, and some words there from Mark Postlethwaite, who's the series editor. So very, very interesting little segments in there. If you're into the Tempest, if you're into your Typhoons, this is really a book that you should be going and getting, because it is full of lots of really good pictures. I've had a quick look through to see if I can pick up on stuff to talk about, and initially there's a few bits and pieces, but after that it's sort of pretty much, you know, nothing of real special note. But unless you're actually building this model, or you're building one of these models, you know, it's not like there's not lots of special changes in this, that and the other, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. So here's the prototype. So you can see here, this is originated from the Typhoon, and as you can see, it's still got the Typhoon tail there, and everything. And then here we've got the this is now we're practicing with a strengthened tail. You can see now we've changed to the curved rudder, which is noticeable on the Tempest. This white line apparently is there for photographic purposes. So there we go. Here we can see this is a Tempest Before it received a fin extension, problems with the Bristol Centaurus engine played a large part in the delay introducing this aircraft. This is the Tempest 2, thereby reinforcing the need for the Tempest 5. So there you can see there the Bristol Centaurus radial engine. And then here we've got looking very much like a Hurricane, if you look at this here. And this is the Tempest 1, eventually abandoned along with the Tempest 3 and 4 due to concerns over availability of their Griffon engines. But we can see here they've all got the, well, this one has, and these two have. These have got the early car door type canopies from the Typhoon. You can see here still got the Typhoon tail. And then here we can see one, and we've actually got, this is delays in the Sabre 4, and the success of more readily available Tempest 5 led to the abandonment of this promising project. And you can see this one's got intakes on the wings and everything. This is the Tempest 1 in its final form with the Typhoon sliding hood. And then going over the page, we've got images now, and we're now going into service. Lots and lots of images. We can see we've got the Typhoon type stripes on the wings for identification. That wasn't invasion stripes, that was for identification to avoid friendly fire. We're in February 44 now. And then here we can see the intakes, and this is showing the Typhoon type intake against the Tempest. So you can see there's a difference there that you wouldn't normally notice if you just looked at them and you didn't know the subject. I'm sure there's lots of people out there who are, big Typhoon Tempest fans, and they'll know all of this already. And if you are one of those people, then this book is highly recommended because you'll love all the images in here. Here we can see the fitting of drop tanks. This I thought was quite interesting. This is the centre section of a Typhoon, and this is the centre section of a Tempest. And we can see here it's been extended. We've got this additional tank here, which was fitted to replace the fuel that was lost by the thinner wing section of the Tempest over the Typhoon. So they extended the nose and fitted a fuel tank up there, sort of Spitfire style. So you can see here the nose is shorter, and here it's longer. And also the first 50 production Tempest 5s used Typhoon centre sections from a cancelled order. So you can see here we've got these thicker wing root mountings, and on the Tempest they're much thinner. And that is why the early production Tempests had little fairings on the wing roots, which we'll see in a minute. So very interesting to see. Beautiful shots there for modelers, for all your detail and everything. Very interesting indeed. This was all steel tube apparently. I thought it was aluminium, but apparently it was all steel. And then going over the page here, we can see there's one of those fairings on the wing root there. You can see here they're rifling out the cannons, cleaning out the cannons. We can see here we've got the still got the lead over from the Typhoon. We've got those stiffeners or fish plates. Below displays the later style of 4-spoke wheel hubs, heavily stained long-range tanks, and the apertures for the new short-barreled Hispano Mark V. The cantilever Tempest main undercarriage leg had replaced the Typhoon's pneumatic version. Also note the Stone Guard C fitted over the air intake to prevent debris damage. So lots and lots of little changes and differences. You can see there's the different wheel there to there. Okay. And then here we can see there's those bulges again for the fairings. We can see the identification stripes marked on there. Got them on the wheel covers there. And then they've tried to fog out that, but it's an IFF aerial. Cockpit there showing there's the handle for pulling for discarding the hood. And then A and B, we've got IFF and SBA aerials and the addition of downward identification light C. So, and the downward identification light, it says lights. I can only see one. So I guess there's one on each wing. I'm guessing at this point they hadn't gone over to the 3 lights yet. This downward looking identification recognition lights thing is really doing my head in. This is where I'm having the problem with the A20. If anybody knows if they can help, I'd be very grateful. Because that William Wolfe book is talking about at a certain period they changed from the British type to the American Air Force type. But there's no picture or anything that tells you which is which. And there's loads of images of A20s and Bostons with no lights at all. So, I don't know. There we go. Little production hall there where they're putting some together. Very nice to see. Nice to see. There's a nice little diode for you. You've got some cannons there with the rotary barrels in the wings, and then here they are loading them up with 20mm rounds. It says something here about note the rounds are paired, 2 high explosive incendiary with 2 semi-armor piercing. I can't see the difference in it. I guess oh yes, I can now. Sorry, we do have the different heads on them. I couldn't see that initially when I looked, but I can see now they are paired. So it's the rounds are paired with 2 high explosive incendiary with 2 semi-armor piercing incendiary alternating. There we go. Beautiful image there for modelers. It says in the notes about the weld lines on there that modelers often sand off because they think they're seams, mold seams. But yeah, beautiful. You see the unpainted tank there, and all these panels taken off, which is great. If you've got a 24th scale Typhoon from Airfix, you know, I know it's not the same aircraft, but it does give you the option to do all this, doesn't it? You've got the V1 campaign, and we talk about here the painted on stripes and keeping them unscratched and everything. You can see the crew standing all over it and scratching them, and apparently it affected performance. So here we have one here which has got very, very neatly painted lines, and apparently this actually did affect performance. And it says here Beaumont's had his JN751 stripes immaculately painted with a smooth paint rather than the usual distemper. The improvement in performance was noted by the RAE, who subsequently recommended the repainting of all diver hunting types in this way or the removal of the stripes entirely. The latter policy was followed in early July 44. So we can see the difference in the stripes there and there. So some aircraft did have these neatly painted, beautiful straight stripes. So there we are. And you can see here's another version with the stripes very, very neatly painted. JN862, they just painted over the serial number, it didn't matter. Also notice very neatly painted around the lettering, which is very interesting. And also here you can see the bottom of that gear door is completely white, so they've done that there, but they don't know about the other side, so they've assumed the other side would be okay. I often wonder how good these stripes would be when the undercarriage doors were up, because surely they painted them, they kind of measured the length of the gap and then guessed. Surely they didn't put the undercarriage up and paint them, did they? So I would imagine that in reality those lines would be off on the doors, but that's just me thinking logically and probably got it wrong. Some more images here. You can see here this is the same aircraft showing the RAF the invasion stripes, and here they're completely gone as directed in July 44. So there you go. Also note here this one's got a shiny appearance, and apparently they were experimenting with polishing the paint to improve performance. We've got the kill markings on here, drop tanks. And then we're in the 2nd Tactical Air Force. So we've got the Royal Australian Air Force now. And you can see here this kangaroo holding the Australian flag painted on the nose there of that one. And this guy here was lucky to survive. Apparently his wing caught fire and completely took off all the material off his rudder and took all the paint off the tailplane. And lucky to survive and actually get back. Absolutely incredible. Looks like that's him there as well. Gee, look, the paint all burnt off. And then here we can see this is a picture here showing 3 different aircraft, showing you the different types of stripes that were painted on and the different types of lettering. Okay, these were all taken on the same day. Right then, so I'm sorry, a little cough there. So here we have one of the beautiful drawings, as we always see in these Wingleader books, and we've got here, we can see here modeller's notes. We have the letters, the serial numbers in Sky. We have, or Sky Code should I say, the spinner is in night. Fuselage band has been overpainted, that's gone now, and you can see we have the type C1 roundels with the yellow outer ring on them and the white band in there as well in all positions. So see this is very late March 45. And then going through the rest of the book, we have lots and lots of interesting little images with little bits and points that I won't really point out. If you really want to read it all, you need to get the book. You can see here you got a flight engineer or a groundman on the wing guiding the pilot because he can't see over the nose. And we've got some damage on the radiator intake. You can see here when the canopy's been blown off. It says there, hit by flak. Hit by flak in the rear of the cockpit during an attack on Fussbrook Airfield on 11th of April 45. ZDV also sustained damage to the tailplane. We've got some more images all parked up on the airfield, all looking good. Looking great if you're a Tempest fan. And then we've got some post-war. So the rest of the book now is post-war. Because obviously the Tempest was a late war aircraft, so did a lot post-war. You can see here there's a colour picture of an aircraft. This is the same aircraft as this one here, on display at Vesterport, Copenhagen on the 1st of August 45. Note the squadron badge on the fin, and the spinner is now glossy black. There we go. We've got some more of these lovely drawings with the kill ratio, the kill number markings on there and everything. We have a emblem on the tail there. You can see we've got a pilot proudly sat in his cockpit there, looking like he has no shirt on. We don't want to go flying like that; you get very cold. As we see more and more images post-war, see now we've got numbers on the doors. Maybe when they did the numbers, maybe they did have to put the gear up to paint them on. I don't know. I'd love to know. If anybody knows for sure, let us know. Here we are fitting practice rounds, with concrete end on the rocket. Bomb fitted on the wing. There's a £500 bomb, a smoke bomb. And here we are again. The shells going in, 20mm cannon shells. This time they're not in pairs, they're all just ordinary shells. You can see there's a drum there. The drums pull them in. Here, because this was quite interesting, here's an aircraft which has been stripped of all its paint. And it's made a note here, you can see the different colour panels. And this is how you differentiate between a Tempest that's actually been stripped or that's actually been painted in aluminium, because they were obviously sometimes painted in aluminium. And then here's one here stripped of paint, as we can see, and this is in rolled out at Gatto on the 6th of February 1946. They're actually all in Berlin, that's why you can see all this German Rauschen verboten, that's smoking forbidden. When 123 wing was reorganised as a Tempest wing early in 46, Wing Commander J.C. Button adopted MV708 as his personal aircraft. It was marked with a half black, half white spinner, as previously seen on his wartime Typhoon. There he goes, claimed his own aircraft. You can see the numbering on the bottom. I wonder if they did shut those doors. Anybody knows, please tell me. If they shut them to paint them. Or if they had templates or something that fitted into the bays and they could do that. Maybe they had a template that sort of fitted into the wheel bay and they painted the letters over that, and then they fitted that piece that they painted onto the door and then copied the lettering on there. I'd be really interested to know if anybody knows how they did it. Not they think how they did it, they know how they did it. Some more interesting photos there. You can see there's a Y on that intake. Heavily worn paint here, very worn paint on those wings. And then we can see here we've got some for training, showing here the 7S code. This is in Dunsfold in April 45. And then we're at the end of the book. We've got some beautiful images there with the rocket rails and everything. And this is the Hawker Tempest 5 chronology, 1943 to 1948. Last frontline Tempest retired in June 48. 2nd of September 42 was the first flight of the prototype. So there we go. 16th of June 44, the first V1 was downed. And there we are. We've got a glossary there. I should read that and memorise it, shouldn't I? So Royal Aircraft Establishment and Aircraft and Armament Experimental Establishment. I'll try and remember that one. There we go. So that's the book. So that is Wingleader, photo archive number 29 on the Hawker Tempest Mark V. And you can see, as I've just shown you, it's a beautiful book, fantastic for the Tempest fan, and a must-have I'm afraid I'm not as enthusiastic about the Tempest as I am about the Lancaster, say, but all in all, I wanted to show you the book because it's absolutely beautiful as usual, and a very, very valued addition to the bookshelf. So thank you for watching. I'll just finally show you once again. There's the ISBN should you want to get this book. Okay, so there we are. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all soon from plenty more build videos and reviews and everything. And as I say, very much looking forward to what might be number 30, which will be the Lancaster book and proper aimed at the modeler. We shall see. Bye for now.